What is up, Rad Potential YouTube, and welcome to today's video. We are unfortunately removing the engine from the Rotary pickup truck, and not because it's broken, guys. We don't take Rotary engines out because they're unreliable, and most of the time we don't remove Rotary engines here because they're broken. We just like to change things a lot, okay? Bear with me. We're changing stuff. So, the engine's all nice and out. The engine we took out today is actually something that a lot of people would love to have. So this is a Series 4 Turbo 2 Rotary engine, 13B, okay? This engine has a Pettit Racing race port in it. It was rebuilt by somebody that worked at Pettit Racing, I believe, a long time ago, and then put in my truck. It came in my yellow rally car with 0 miles. So I got this engine brand new, rebuilt, ready to rip, ready for boost, ready for racing, okay? The only thing really that this engine doesn't have, okay, is studs. Otherwise, this thing should be good to push a bunch of horsepower. And that's why this engine's coming out of my truck. You might be like, why are you taking an engine out that makes horsepower, you know? Well, for this reason, okay? We are building another Rotary truck. Albeit not a lot of original Rotary truck parts, but it's a Rotary truck nonetheless because it's going to have a Rotary engine. And initially we were going to put this engine in said Rotary truck. This engine right here is a old school 4-port 13B, okay? 2 mil apex seals, I think, or 3 mil apex seals. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember what, I think it's got 3 mils in it because we reused them, but I'll look in the exhaust port, or we can check it here in a second. But anyways, it's an old school 4-port 13B. It's got a street port in it. I think it has GSLSE rotors, actually. And that engine was to be for that other truck. Well, that engine is not ready for boost, and it is not a very strong engine. Doesn't have a very good, you know, dowel landing area, and it's a 4-port for old school. So we're going to put that engine in my Rotary truck because for now, my Rotary truck can be slow. And fortunately, if I can find it, I have some really cool parts that were on my Rotary truck a long time ago, and we're going to put them back on. So this is a 4-port Racing Beat side draft adapter manifold. This piece, coupled with this piece, makes my DeLordo side draft fit on an old school 4-port, which is what that carburetor was on initially. And I had modified it to fit on the Series 4 Turbo 2 lower intake manifold. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We had fuel injectors in a Rotary truck? That never came fuel injected. Well, the fuel injectors are merely there holding my truck from having a vacuum leak. And that's pretty much all they were doing. They were just sitting there, preventing it from having a vacuum leak. So, with that being said, the next step for the truck right now, which you guys are going to get the enjoyment of seeing, as you saw, I removed the engine and everything, is that this truck is filthy, okay? Old trucks leak oil. Rotary engines leak oil. If your engine doesn't have oil under it, there isn't any oil in it, okay? So, I've already stripped the pan, made a big mess. This engine was leaking. I'm going to degrease this engine bay and make it look as good as it can look, all right? And yes, this is the same neglected Rotary truck from the neglected Rotary truck video I did a while back. And no, it is, I guess, seemingly not that neglected, but I hadn't driven it for like a bunch of months, and then I did that video, and then now we're going to get it back together. And here's the ultimate goal, right? We're going on a road trip, okay? Not a super far one, but a good one-day, nice little easy road trip, and we're going to take this truck. So, this week, get stoked. We're going to change wheels on this truck. We're going to put this engine in this truck. And we're going to get ready to go. So, enjoy this engine bay becoming super clean. And then enjoy that engine getting dressed up. Behold, the Rotary truck's new heart. We now have a 4-port 13B inside the Rotary truck instead of the S4 Turbo 2 13B over here. Okay, so this one has been removed on the floor, oily, grimy, cruddy, and the new hotness has been installed. Now, we aren't going to start it in this video because one reason. I was going to try to, but I don't have a 4-port lower intake manifold gasket, and that's just real unfortunate. So that's the one that goes between this lovely carburetor and the engine, and I just have it bolted on there because it looks super hot fire. So what did we have to do to get here? Well, as you saw, we put the oil pan on. You didn't see, but I pulled the front cover off, made sure that the keyway was in for all the front gears. I rechecked the in-play, and then put the front cover back on with, actually, this is something that y'all should comment below if you guys have ever done this or not, or did I throw it away, or maybe I didn't. Okay, well, here's what I did. So I didn't have the fancy O-ring that goes on the front cover, that goes right here, okay? I didn't have this one. This is your oil pump O-ring. If you don't have that, you don't make oil pressure. Now, I did, however, have a front cover gasket for an RX-8. An RX-8 front cover gasket is metal with the like raised edge. So I lined it up on the front of the old school 13B. The water pump gasket didn't match. Wasn't even close. There's an extra bolt hole. Oh, here we go. Okay. So right here. There's an extra bolt hole right here on the RX-8s, and the old school 13B one is rounded. So I'd have had a leak there. So I had to cut this part off. But the front cover gasket, the raised edge of the gasket right here, this like steel gasket, it matched. So I'm running that gasket on there, and hopefully it doesn't leak. But from what it looks like though, the oil thing has a ring around it. Everything should be good. It all lined up pretty dang good. There's no spots where the lip of it necessarily like jumps out. There's no spots where it does anything weird. So I think we're set on that whole deal. So anyways, that's in there. This motor has a, actually it's not an electric motor. This engine has GSLSE rotors in it. So we used an N304 flywheel. We used the same clutch that I had on that S4 NA flywheel that's on the back of that T2 block. Fun fact, if you haven't seen my earlier video, I suggest you go back and look at it. If you're curious, if you need the knowledge, the truck has a 4-speed. It's an NA diameter. With rotors, there's 2 different diameters of flywheels. You have the NA one, which is smaller, and the turbo / RX-8 one / FD one, which is bigger. Okay. You can mix and match S4 to S4, S5 to S5, NA to T2 or whatever, the big to the small, right? So in order to run that turbo block in here, I had a S4 NA flywheel on it. The GSLSE one, the other thing that's nice, and this video explains all that, is that a GSLSE and a Repu share the same balance. So any 13B before 1985, you can run any of the 13B flywheels on any of those 13Bs. So keep that in mind. N304 though, the GSLSE one is the lightest. The truck flywheel I think is 35 pounds. So another tip and trick when you're putting your engine in, especially in a truck, first gens, anything with this front bar, it's easier to get the engine in there without the bar on it. So get the engine in, get it stabbed, get it hooked up to the tranny, and then put that bar on. Super easy to line everything up. So now, you might ask, what in the heck are you working on this crappy old truck for, and you're not working on the rally car? Okay, this is something for you guys. I am going to take a trip this weekend. It's easy, not that far trip for me, and I'm going to put this truck in the Formula Drift St. Louis car show. So I'm going to road trip this thing up there with this engine that gets my break-in miles on this engine. I'd love to go up there and see the Formula Drift stuff. I'd love to go up there and see like Kyle Mohan's 3-rotor RX-8. And I'd love to go up there and just show you guys the truck. Be at an event, right? Get away from, you know, not really here, but get away from my Nashville stuff that I normally go to, cars and coffee, this, that, and the other, and go to a different one. So that's why we're working on the truck this week. And yes, this is 4 days before we have to leave. That's right now. We haven't started the truck yet, and it has a new engine. So definitely wish me luck, and I think it'll fire up first go. But with that being said, to those of you who have went and joined the Patreon, awesome. I will have a video up for you guys here in the next day or two to kind of start that and kick that stuff off. If you haven't looked at the Patreon, go check it out. At least read the description, see what's up. We're just starting it. Don't entirely know what it's going to turn into. I have a couple goals for it. As far as like, I don't want it to just be like behind the scenes stuff that doesn't get uploaded to YouTube, but it will be 100% Patreon only content. So if you're into that sort of thing, or if you want to support the channel, go check that out. And otherwise, drop a comment below with any questions about doing this engine swap in the Repu. I know this video is not my typical 25-minute super in-depth video, but I wanted to kind of film it a little bit different for this one. You guys have seen me put engines in before into other cars, and yeah, get stoked for the rotary truck, guys. Changing the wheels, changing the engine. We're going to Formula Drift, St. Louis. See you guys in the next video. Keep it red. Letty, come here. You gotta say hi to everybody. You gotta say hi. Can you sit? Can you sit? High five. Oh, good job. Good job. Not really a high five, but peace, guys.